All right. Hey, Scott.
Nowi,
good to see you here. Well, we're excited to be leading Covecta's seed round of $6.5 million, and great to be here with you. Wondering, what was the key insight that led you to founding the business together with your co-founders?
Yeah, I mean, great to be here with you, Nowi, and glad you guys led the round. We'll get into more of that in a minute. But the key insight for us as a founding team was the productivity drag and inefficiency across front, middle, and back office teams within the financial services sector. It's something we've seen for the last 15 years. It hasn't really improved. If anything, sometimes it's stayed quite stagnant. And with the new wave of innovation around AI, not just in the consumer space, but the enterprise space, we saw this huge opportunity unfold. That's what really launched Covecta just over a year ago. And our goal and our mission is to be building purpose-built AI capabilities for this sector. Yeah. So that's been our North Star. Will continue to be so.
All right. Yeah. So now that the round is closed, what's top of the list for you in terms of priorities?
Good list of things to do. But top of the list is there's 4 key things, right? So the first is investing in our infrastructure and particularly fine-tuning to advance the context and reasoning of our baseline models. So that's the first key thing we're going to focus on. The second is then our agent skills, so improving the performance of agents across a range of tasks. The next is then distribution channels. So we've got a fairly sophisticated and mature direct channel to the market today. But one of the things that's really important to allow us to scale and improve and increase adoption rates is a distribution channel. So ensuring that Covecta is present where you work across the front, middle, and back office. And then the final piece is our investment in our team. So building a talent-dense team with experts in the financial services sector, but also in AI. So they're kind of the 4 key things that we'll be focused on now that the raise is done.
Yeah, and it's been great to see the team you've been putting together and the hires you've made since. For Covecta and seeing the live deployments already at various customers, what makes the tool so valuable to those customers?
So for us, we are a verticalized offering. We're highly specialized, purpose-built for FS, but even just particular sectors of this industry. And if we look at what's going to make us a market leader, it's being highly skilled and offering highly skilled capabilities through the stack. So if we start from the bottom up, the first is what we do with our orchestrator and our reasoning capabilities with our sub-agents. So today we will handle multi-agent chain of tasks, and they come with complexity. Our orchestrator has the context to break those down, but also then build an execution plan around an appropriate set of sub-agents. These sub-agents then call on a range of tools, but these tools are specific to this industry. That then allows us to bring results back and reasoning with higher confidence levels and relevancy for our user when they then engage with the output of an agent. But that then leads on to the second point, which is the connectors and the tools themselves. So we are building and have already got connectors to the likes of EPC, Companies House, Experian, Land Registry. These are important connectors for particular tasks like running credit searches and credit checks. Our agents have by default access to these, which enrich that experience without users today having to go via another third party or directly. So it's bringing that ecosystem to our agents. And then the final piece is the agent skills. So whether you're wanting to draft and write a credit memo, well, credit teams want really standardized documentation. We do that out of the box, and you can configure that to meet your needs so that when our agents are repeating tasks, it's consistent. By default, sometimes there's non-deterministic behavior, which means it isn't. So we've kind of found ways to manage around that. Maybe you want to deploy an agent to monitor your portfolio. Well, we've built purpose-built agents to perform that task. It could be to perform conditional statements and decision tree branching across loan decisioning and origination process. So really honing in on these skills that are deployed to users, but behind all of that and underneath it is much more specialized and mature reasoning through the fine-tuning, the orchestrator, and the sub-agents. So for us, this has been a really exciting journey over the last year. You have the foresight of seeing a much bigger industry trend, and you also see pan-industry. You speak to a number of portfolio companies and prospects every day. How does our journey and story and our progress resonate with what you see in the market, but also what stood out to you about us?
So we're very active investors in AI, and a key theme is bringing AI into production across a number of key verticals, and we tend to focus on those largest verticals where there is the most pain. When we look at investment opportunities, I'd say like the three key elements are market, product, and team. And if you take those one by one, is market. You mentioned at the start, there is a huge pain generally in financial services because the tech stack is often, quite disparate and old. You're seeing several, failed implementations, comes with a lot of cost, which also has impact on employees, right? In order to be productive, where they feel like, hey, we don't have access to the best technology. What we saw is that if you want to really create change and make change, and you want to adopt AI, you're going to have a layer on top of your existing stack. So it doesn't actually replace anything or displace anything, but it is a layer on top that integrates nicely and works with all the various tools such that you can start generating value. And that pain, we've seen with a number of industries where, for example, also insurance. And so, that's what we're going after. Now, in terms of product, the big question is always hey, you see the models that are doing very well, that have great capabilities. Is it smart enough to be able to handle the variety of use cases for a specific vertical?
Right.
And the other thing is, do they have the workflows built in such that, an employee can actually go and do their work? What we're seeing is that, yes, they have potentially the intelligence, but they lack the consistency, accuracy, the hallucinations that have been widely covered, which leads to lack of trust. So you need to be able to ground it in actual knowledge of a specific company about their processes and their domain. Second, if you think about it, using a general purpose model, it's kind of like it's a chat box, right? You put in your prompts, etc. There are a lot of different workflows with a lot of different tools and applications that you need to use. So with that, actually, you need to have a platform on top that is able to do all these things and bring it all together. And that's essentially what Covecta is. Now, last part, team. What's most important to us is obviously energy of a founding team, but also have they lived the pain? Do they understand what they're building for? Do they have the domain knowledge? And with that, they should be able to open up basically the network, the market opportunity, and be successful. So what we saw with Covecta is basically all of that, right? Given your backgrounds, Mambu, Finastra, and throughout the industry, then, a solid network, and three, clearly the energy, but then also hey, AI can change all of this, but we need to make it such in a way that is fully consumable, easily consumable, and then bring it to the relevant customers. And that's what we saw with Covecta here. It creates much more trust and allows you to go to market faster, essentially. Yeah, question for you. We have the great partnership between Salesforce Ventures and Covecta. Wondering what stood out to you about Salesforce Ventures and why did you decide to partner with us?
Yeah, it's a couple of key things for us. We in probably this order, it was the team. So spending time with you and Sam, we got to know each other probably about 7 months before we actually completed the raise, right? We just got introduced after we did our pre-seed, but then we really spent a lot of time, a couple of months into kind of doing our seed round. And it just immediately became very clear to us that you guys understand this domain, you understand the space we're going into, enterprise, FS, right? There's a lot of opportunity there and value to give and extract, but it takes investment and some time. So that was really clear to us. but also like the connection as just a working team, because that's
Right.
what we're going to become. So that was like something that really stood out to us. The second is your presence across our market, EMEA as well, and the success you've had. You clearly understand like how to back a winner. Hopefully we're going to be one of those as well. And then the other piece, and this ties back to what I shared earlier about distribution channels. You guys are the second highest performing corporate venture capital firm globally. And that brings with it the ecosystem that you work within, and in particular, obviously, Salesforce and others. This is a huge opportunity for Covecta to participate in that space. So it's the team, of course, the capital's always helpful, but it's also the ecosystem
Right.
you bring that really stood out to us. So that's what makes us really excited. We've got a huge mountain to climb. We're climbing it. You're an oxygen tank, right, as well. So this is exactly what we need. And we'll get to the peak together, and I'm looking forward to the journey.
That sounds amazing, and thanks for deciding to partner with us. We're equally excited about the journey ahead, and can't wait to see what Covecta looks like in the next few years.
We'll be back on this sofa in a year's time, and we'll give an update.
Maybe
sooner. Maybe sooner. Yeah, you're right. A year's too long.
Yeah, exactly.